Most people don't talk about this kind of frustration out loud. They joke about it. They hide it. They call it being distracted. But late at night, it feels heavier than that. You look around your room and see evidence of unfinished versions of yourself. A skill you were once obsessed with, a plan that almost worked, a phase that burned bright, then disappeared. And somewhere in the background is a quiet fear. Something must be wrong with me. You were told that successful people pick one thing early, sacrifice everything else, and never look back. So when your interests keep changing, you assume you're failing the test. But what if that test no longer matches the world you're living in? Before we go deeper, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. And if you enjoy psychology and self-mastery content like this, make sure you're subscribed. For most of modern history, progress followed a simple formula. Choose a narrow path, repeat it long enough, outperform everyone who quit. That formula worked because the environment was stable. Jobs lasted decades. Skills stayed relevant. Industries moved slowly. But your nervous system doesn't live in that world anymore. The modern world shifts constantly. Technology reinvents entire careers overnight. Information multiplies faster than any single person can master. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Extreme specialization is no longer protection. In many cases, it's exposure. So if your mind keeps pulling you toward new skills, new domains, new curiosities, that isn't chaos by default. It's pattern recognition. Your brain is scanning for flexibility. To someone watching from the outside, your path looks inconsistent. But internally, something very specific is happening. You're not collecting hobbies, you're collecting frameworks. When someone spends time in different fields, their brain starts building connections most people never see. They notice similarities between systems that appear unrelated. They borrow solutions from one domain and quietly apply them to another. This is how breakthroughs usually happen, not by knowing more of the same thing, but by combining things that were never meant to touch. The problem is, society doesn't reward this early. It rewards clean labels, simple explanations, straight lines. So you feel behind. You watch people your age settle into titles and identities while you feel like you're still assembling the blueprint. That comparison creates burnout, not because you're lazy, but because you're measuring yourself with the wrong ruler. You don't have a linear mind, you have a layered one. Instead of a single pillar, your growth happens in stages. Depth, then expansion. Focus, then exploration. One season builds the foundation for the next. The mistake is trying to build everything at once. When people like you burn out, it's usually because they attempt parallel lives instead of sequential ones. They try to master multiple paths simultaneously, and everything collapses under its own weight. The solution isn't giving up curiosity, it's structuring it. Think in seasons, not identities. One chapter may be about earning stability, another about creative exploration, another about refining a skill you previously ignored. Nothing is wasted. Each season leaves behind tools, instincts, and perspectives that quietly stack. Eventually, those pieces begin to overlap, and when they do, something powerful happens. You stop chasing roles, you start designing your own. There's also a deeper reason this path is more resilient than it looks. In nature, systems that survive disruption are rarely efficient. They're redundant. They have backups. When one pathway fails, another compensates. Your varied skill set works the same way. If one area of life stalls, you don't collapse, you pivot, you adapt, you rebuild using a different angle. That adaptability is not indecision, it's insurance. So when you feel embarrassed about past interests you didn't finish, remember this: completion isn't always the goal. Integration is. Those phasers weren't failures, they were training grounds. You were learning how to learn, how to enter unfamiliar territory, how to think beyond rigid boundaries. And in a world that refuses to stay still, that ability matters more than mastery in a single lane. You were never meant to be one thing. You were meant to connect things. If this perspective helped you reframe your path, leave a heart in the comments. And if you want more content like this, subscribe and check the description for deeper resources. You're not behind. You're building differently.